We'll begin tonight with the local government congresses of the ruling All Progressives Congress held across the country today. Reports from Abuja, the nation's capital, show that the elections were peaceful across the 6 area councils. In Gwagwalada Area Council, party members opted for a formation of executives after a consensus was reached. The party says the peaceful congress is an indication of the acceptability of the leadership at the council and state level. The exercise was witnessed by representatives of the party at the state level and officials of the Independent National Electoral Commission.
I've always advised my party, let us not allow contests as far as primary is concerned in Gwagwalada Area Council, wherever I found myself. That let's take the pain to resolve our problems ourselves than to go to open field to expose ourselves. National issues, because you can see there are clashes of interest. More especially now that 2023 is at hand, and it is believed that Mr. President is finishing his tenure. But I bet you that the same way we resolve in Gwagwalada, the same way God in his infinite mercy will come up. And some of us who also speak to national leaders will advise that between now and before the convention, you can see that we come out as one party, one united party.
The Congress have united the party more, because if there is any dissident voice, you could have heard it at the ground of the Congress. But you've heard it that everybody is in support of my leadership and my team. So everybody have agreed that I should continue as the chairman of this party. I know by that, wallahi, this party have been rebuilt and have been reborn in Gwagwalada Area Council.
And in Lagos State, the APC local government congress is held peacefully across 20 council areas to elect new executives. Arise News was at the Surulere local government, from where our crew reports that turnout was very impressive. The new executives were elected through affirmation. Also in Mushin local government area, incumbent chairman Babatunde Shitobe was re-elected.
There's no much celebration. It's just a ratification, consensus, and it went well. There's no argument. Nobody is contesting with me or with the other party.
There was an election and everybody was okay by everybody. And I mean, it's a new dawn, so to say. It's the beginning of a new thing. There are 3 tiers of government: local government, state, national. And this was the first step towards the new beginning you'll be seeing in APC.
We have an arrangement of consensus among the electorate, so it made everything very easy for all of us. As you can witness also, no rancor, no ill feelings. All the party leaders have done their bit before today, so it made everything so easy for everybody.
And in Akwa Ibom State, the APC Congress was relatively peaceful despite an initial protest at Uyo local government area. Party members turned out in the numbers to cast their votes, and many say they're satisfied with the process.
I am so impressed to witness this kind of function that is going on today. And I always like to say that if party were to be like this is the first time in the history I've seen most free and a fair congress that's going on within the party. And I'm happy that it's peaceful. So I'm happy to witness it. This is the first time, like I said, this is the first time that the people, if you can see the crowd, the people are coming out all over from all the crannies of Uyo to witness this thing. So I think it's one of the first time in the history of this party that we have such a congress. People are coming from all over the world that makes Uyo local government. So it is free and it's fair. So I accept everything that comes out of it.
Today's event is a wonderful outing for APC, where we are coming as a Congress to elect our chapter officials and delegates. It's been wonderful, well ordered, and very orderly, very peaceful, and one of the most credible Congress I've ever witnessed.
From the look at things, you have seen the Congress being so free, fair, and without any problems. You don't see the atmosphere is fine. The conduct of election is really having a momentum that everybody will accept.
Well, it was, however, a different story in Adamawa State where the process was disrupted. Well, from Yola North, Yola South, Mubi, and to other parts of the state, there are reports of chaos and parallel congresses by different groups. Gunshots were fired by officers of the Department of State Services at youths who stormed the APC party secretariat chanting, "We need justice." They accused the DSS of conniving with the Congress committee members to divert materials meant for the local government Congress, while some party members described the process as a sham. Journalists were reported to have been forced to delete footages taken during the fracas.
I'm ESCO from Yola North. See my voter's cards. These are my voter's cards. No elections in here. That's the reason now. DSS and the member of the APC carry down material. You can hear it go gone. Everybody hear about gone. Tout for it. Is it what you can say here in your life?
At any given time, there's no way you can have more than one chairman. But it is possible. This time around, Mr. A is the chairman. Tomorrow, Mr. BOC can also be the chairman. Isn't it? It means that if 2 or 3 persons wanted to be chairman at this time, if they agree to come to terms to agree and present one person, next time the other person can also be, isn't it? And they can continue to work together. However, in the event that they could not agree, they can go into election. But we want, even after that election, to remain united, to remain brothers and sisters, to remain the members of the party from that particular local government.
Okay, joining us now to look at the outcome of the congresses is the spokesman of the All Progressives Congress in the Federal Capital Territory, Usman Adaji. Very warm welcome to Newsnight, Usman Adaji.
It's my pleasure. Nice being here.
Yes, I mean, you can speak very much of the FCT, the 6 area councils, and how the Congress went there. Yeah. Satisfactory, you would say?
Wonderful. It has been peaceful, well conducted, and everybody, just like what you saw on the news footage, everybody is happy for it. We've never had it this good. It's been so wonderful.
But it's been a mixed bag, you know, when you look at some other states, like what we saw in Adamawa, and we see state machinery again, you know, being used to coerce the people, to deny the people of their rights. Well, are we learning anything?
Well, politics, you can't have it all peaceful. This is politics. It's a game of interest. There are situations where your interest may not tally with my interest.
So
and
once
that happens, of course, sometimes it is not even the key players, the real players that are violent. It is the supporters. Most times, supporters go haywire, and then they begin to do what is not expected. So in our case in the APC, it's not different from what we see in other political cycles. But what we try to do is we try to manage crises as they come. You can't avoid crisis in politics. But how are you able to manage those crises before it gets beyond the normal? That is what is most important. So as you can see, I can bet you that in the next 24 hours, what you saw as an issue in Adamawa and other parts of the northern countries would have been a thing of the past, because decorum would have been restored.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing that happen, really, and we're quite excited seeing that a lot of consensus was actually agreed upon. I know that the leadership of your party had given that advisory going into this local government congresses, but I do know that your constitution, even if there's a consensus, there still has to be that yes or no.
Of course, yes.
To agree. Did we see that happen in the FCT and other states that you have reports on?
Incidentally, some of your correspondents were at Gwagwalada. I conducted the election in Gwagwalada today, and of course they could affirm to the fact that there was voice votes in affirmation, in agreement with that consensus. You see, the fact is that what we have is Congress, or what we're supposed to have is Congress. It doesn't matter whether it is by direct voting or it is by consensus. But what matters most is that, was there a Congress? Yes, there was a Congress. That means all the delegates that are meant to be part of that Congress, to participate in that Congress, were not disenfranchised. They were all on ground, they witnessed the process, and of course, through a voice vote, they affirmed the position of the chairman down to the ex-officials in agreement with what had been reached earlier on. And
but
that was
of course,
exactly
we're
what
seeing the
happened.
different scenario play out in Adamawa State. So that brings me to my next question. What mechanism has your party put in place to avoid a situation like we saw the last time during when you had your congresses, where we saw some people go to the law courts to seek redress? So what internal mechanisms are in place right now to avoid that from happening here?
Beautiful. Now, what we do as a party is that the congresses do not just start and ends at the congress points. There is a committee in charge of the congresses. Once the congress are over, there are rules for appeal. If you are not satisfied with the process, you appeal to the appeal committee. There is an appeal committee waiting for the aftermath of this particular Congress that we've just had. Now, it is expected that whoever is aggrieved approach the appeal committee and then come up with what they think was not done right. It is for the party to now look at it at that appeal point, and once the appeal either affirm that position or disagree with the conduct of the Congresses, returns back to the party itself. And of course, the leadership of the party will not go to sleep because we have elections ahead of us. We are very mindful of that. Let me give you an instance. FCT has election in less than 6 months or 7 months thereabout, by January, February. So if we don't manage what we have, of course, that can transcend into the general election or the area council election. So we are very mindful of this. In the same vein, even 2022-23 is around the corner. We cannot afford to have crisis beyond necessary because that could also affect the chances of the party in the forthcoming election. So there are a series of mechanisms that the party has put in place to check these excesses. And also, we also do have that a party member, an aggrieved party member, do not just wake up and then run to the law court to seek redress, except when the last option in the party had been exhausted. And we have series of options to be taken care of, to be used in settling issues as they come. So I can assure you that what we are seeing in Adamawa is not an issue.
All right. Beyond the disputes resolutions which you've outlined,
yes.
Some people are worried, asking that how democratic is this process of affirmation? It's like they are coerced or cajoled to say, yes, this is the leader.
Okay. Now, the point here remains this. The party has room for what we call, every political party has room for waiver. Now, this waivers comes when the party feels that certain things were not done properly to certain persons. Don't forget, this particular team, somewhere, somehow, their process, the team was truncated. That is the Congress of 2019, was truncated when they were asked to prematurely vacate the office, sometimes because of some few issues that the party needed to handle. So the party saw reasons why they should allow this same team consensusly to continue and perhaps finish their tenure, because they have a lot of things to work on in the party, because they understand the party better than any new person you are bringing now. More so that elections are ahead of us, it is very difficult for you to begin to groom new people now to understand the activities of the party, how the party activities are run before the election comes. So it is always better to work with those that understand the system and how the system runs.
Right.
All right.
That is why we have given
Well, of
this.
course, this is a prelude to the state and even the national convention. In about 10 seconds, are we expecting a national convention this year?
Well, most likely, but it's not in my place to really come out with that now until the party decides.
All right, thanks so very much, Usman Adaji, spokesman of the All Progressives Congress in the Federal Capital Territory.